Hello everyone, this is Sajal Debnath, and in this video I am going to talk about a script, Python script that I have written to automatically collect metric values from vRealize Operations Manager server using the Python client and REST APIs. So you can go ahead and get the scripts from my GitHub account, which is https:// github.com sajaldebnath slash vROps metric hyphen metric hyphen collection. So this is the GitHub location which has the scripts. There are two scripts. One is metric collection.py and another one is setconfig.py. So both these scripts, what they do, you need to first run the set-config.py file. This particular Python file will set the environment for you, and then you run metric collection, metric-collection.py. This is the file, this is the script which actually collects the data and stores it in JSON format. Right. So I will talk about in details about these two scripts in a bit, but before I wanted to do that, I wanted to cover a couple of things, which is covering vRealize Operations Manager APIs, the documentation, and the keys that we will use in the scripts. So the first thing is vRealize Operations Manager API, the REST APIs. It's typically available in your vROps server, and then forward slash suite hyphen API that leads you to the REST API documentation. And as you can see, there are two clients available. One is Java client and another one is Python client. So you need to have Python installed in your environment. If you have Mac or Linux environment, in all probability Python is already installed in that environment. If you are using Windows environment, you need to install Python. So for this particular script, I have written it and tested it in Python 2.7 environment, and you need to set it up accordingly. So download this package, unzip it, and then go to this particular folder and run python setup.py install. So I have it downloaded in my environment, and say it's a vCops the Python, and this is your setup.py file. So you go into this particular directory or folder and then run python setup.py and install, and that will install the entire module for you. The module name is pretty interesting. It's named Nagini. So you go ahead and go into Nagini, and you get to see that there's a methods.json file. So all the methods that you can utilize in Python scripts are defined in this file. If you go ahead and check those methods, you would be able to see that what's the name of the method. So this is the exact method that you need to utilize, and what are the URL it utilizes, and what's the HTTP method that is associated with it, whether it's guest no, sorry get or a post method or something else. Right now, you want to know that what this URL is all about. So you can go back to vROps API documentation, and on the left hand side you have list of all the tasks or the REST API calls that you can do to vRealize Operations Manager. It's under public API. There are two different types of API. One is public API, and then one is internal API. Internal API, as the name suggests, it is the internal working of the vRealize Operations Manager. So in all probability, you will utilize public APIs. So for example, if I see that create alert definition, now I know that I need to do a post operation on the URI, which is API alert definitions. Now since I want to write a script in Python, so I want to know the respective method that's there. So I can simply go ahead and check methods.json file, search for this URI or URL. I can see that there is one method which is defined as create alert definition, right? And it tells me that what are the query parameters and template parameters, if there is any. It seems that I don't need to put any parameters there. There's no mandatory parameter for this. You can always go ahead and check into the sample request, in the JSON format that okay, this is the description, adapter kind is VMware, and what the values that you may pass, and then sample response it also provides. So you can go ahead and check the sample response that you are expecting from vROps server. So that is how you would go ahead and explore the APIs, the things that you can do, what are the things that you can get from vROps and utilize it. Since the purpose of this script is to automatically, because I got this request from a couple of my customers that they wanted to collect the raw metric values from a vRealize operations manager and get that value to do some processing at their own end, right? And how they were asking how they can automate that task or use REST APIs to do that. So you go to vRealize Operations Manager Information Center or the documentation, go to help and then metric property and alert definition. You go to metric definitions, and here you get all the metrics that's calculated in your vRealize Operations Manager or the information that it collects in vROps database. So for example, if I going to go ahead and check vSphere metrics, what are the vSphere metrics that is collected in vROPS? So I see that CPU demand percentage. So if I query vROPS using this metric key, it will give me the demand percentage of the whole vSphere server. So I can utilize these metric keys to get the information that I'm looking for, or the values that I'm looking for, metric values that I'm looking from a vROps server. So you can simply go ahead and check this whatever you require. Remember, all these metrics vROps already collects these metrics in their database. So if you want to get the raw values directly, you can go ahead and do it. Coming back to the program itself, so I have two different scripts. One is set-config.py. What it does, you need to download both of these files, set-config.py and metric-collection.py into the same directory. Run set-config Python script using Python and then set-config.py. It will run and set the environment for you. So it will create a file config.json file in the same directory which will have your configuration environment. Okay, so I'm going to run setconfig.py, setconfig. So the first question that it asks for the adapter kind, so it's a VMware. That's the adapter kind that I'm information that I'm looking for. So I'm looking for virtual machine related information. So the adapter kind is VMware, and then resource kind is a virtual machine. So you change the parameters according to the resource that your object you want to monitor, the virtual machine, and the server URL. That is my server. Provide the user ID and the password, and then maximum number of samples to collect. By default we will say sample is 1, and the number of keys to monitor, say I want to monitor 6 different keys, and the keys are defined here, right? So I will just copy paste the values here. You can set the keys as per your requirement. You remember those keys I have shown. You can monitor any keys, any number of keys, and any keys. So when you say the number of keys you want to monitor, you can change the value, and you can set the keys accordingly, whatever keys that you want to monitor. So you just need to give these values here, or the parameters you want to monitor, or you can later on manually configure that config.json file as well. So it has created one config.json file. If I go into it, see, note that I have stored adapter kind, the keys are in a single list, and then resource kind, the sample number, and the server information. Note, I am not storing the password into plain text format. I am encrypting the password. Now when my config.json file is ready, now metric.collection, I can run this particular program. It gets the information from config.json file and creates another output in another JSON file. So let's run this file first. So we will run metric-collection file. should run and create a metric-data.json file in the same directory. So that okay, you have that metric-data.json. If we go ahead and see that, it's the output is in JSON format. So you have identifier and the name of that particular resource and the statistics. We wanted to monitor 6 parameters. So we are getting these values from the parameters that we wanted to monitor. You have all these informations here, and now if I want to go ahead config.json files, I say I instead of one sample, I mean that the last sample. So if I want to, I mean, ideally, what I should do, I should run metric collection.py. I should create a scheduler for it so that it would be scheduled to run, say, every 5 minutes or 6 minutes. It should be more than 5 minutes because vRealize operations manager collects data every 5 minutes. So if I run the scheduler, less than 5 minutes, the frequency is less than 5 minutes, then I get a lot of redundant data. So the scheduler should run every 5 minutes or more, right? So I get the data and I parse the data according to my requirement. Or otherwise, if I want to get run this script, so once and get last 5 times, the sample number is 5, and then I run this metric collection again. So instead of giving me single value, it should give me last 5 times value, the historical data, right? And if I go back to metric data, now you see that the information that I have is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, last 5 times data. It shows me the timestamp and the value, timestamp and the values for it, for this particular resource. For each and every key that I want to monitor, I get 5 values for that. And you can actually go ahead and change the sample matrix value and say sample collection value, and you can get the matrix as per your requirement. So this is the script, this is what it does. You can further go ahead and parse the data into metric-data.json file and use accordingly. So you can as an input, you can give this script the number of keys that you want to monitor, the keys that you want to monitor, and the number of sample number, and it would go ahead and fetch the data for you. You can parse the data as per your requirement, and you can consume that information into your own program. So this is the script. I hope this will help you in your daily to daily operations, or if you want to you are looking for something which can automate this data collection for you can utilize this script. Just couple of things. Metric collection, what I'm just doing, I'm getting the data using get resources, get latest stats. So as I said that you can go ahead and utilize this, you can actually modify the script to suit your requirement, and you can use other methods to pull out other information or do other tasks as well. So just to handle the JSON way, I had to play around here and there the data, the way I want to get the format into. So uh, I'm playing around with JSON, but the core of this particular script is pretty easy and straightforward. I'm just collecting to vROps server using a pointer, and then I am calling out vROps server to get the information that I want, say resource list, and then from resource id I'm getting my values for each and every values. So only say I would say two method calls to get all that information. Rest of the script is to parse the data that I'm getting, and parsing it and outputting it into the required format. Hope this helps you. Just give me any feedback, and since I have not tested it extensively, I would really like it if you can test it and give me the feedbacks for the script. Thank you for your time and watching this video.